Hello everybody, my name is Luke G3 Reviews, and I'm back after, I don't know, a year from making full-length reviews. Thank you all for still supporting me even though I was on a hiatus. And today, I'm going to be reviewing Studio Series 86, Ultra Magnus. And another thing I want to say, thank you for 60 subscribers and all the support you guys have shown for my videos. I really appreciate that. I just want to let you guys know about that. But without further ado, let's talk about this figure. This figure is a masterpiece, I have to say. It is my favorite Ultra Magnus from the mainline, whole stop. Now, there is a slight problem. There's a problem with one of the taps in the truck mode, but I'll mention that later on when I get to transforming this guy. Alright? But other than that small issue, this figure is genuinely one of my top 10 figures of this year. And taking a look at him, here you have one of, if not the best mainline Ultra Magnus head sculpt ever. Basically, like, look at this thing. It even has light piping, and that is a lost art, in my opinion. Light piping should be a standard for figures. And another thing to note is that the back of the head is clear plastic, which means that that's where, well, of course, that's where the light piping would come from, but it also means that for some reason the ball joint on the head is clear plastic. And because of that, right, if you can see here, it causes the figure to potentially break in that area, as clear plastic is an issue, as you guys know, especially from Hasbro, which is worrying, but since it's not a crucial joint, I hope nothing happens to it. But still, that is one of my minor gripes with this figure. I have a couple here and there, but overall, this figure is amazing. I love this thing. And for the packaging, this packaging is really, really nice. But as you can see here, you got Transformers 86, number 21, Transformers the movie, Ultra Magnus. He is a commander class. You can see Magnus there in a portrait shot. This thing can barely fit in my setup, but on the back of the box, we have some product shots of Magnus in both modes. Here we have the backdrop is included. On the side, we have the same picture as the front of Ultra Magnus's box, but in a black backdrop almost. On the top, we have the entire Arc ship and Transformers the movie. On the bottom of the box, we have some barcodes and numbers that I really don't understand. Just like every other Studio Series figure, we have a backdrop, and here we have Magnus in the backdrop. I have to say, the Battle for Autobot City backdrop is one of my favorites in the 86 line. I gave this thing a 10 out of 10. As for the instructions, they're alright, but they are missing a couple steps, and it's also very hard to have in this setup that I have. Like, these instructions are huge compared to the area of work that I have. So, as you can see here, we have Magnus in his truck mode. As you can see, as I mentioned, the figure does not come with his ears attached. That is something you might want to note if you ever buy this figure. Also, the way that it teaches you how to take the figure apart. I still don't know how to do that. Sorry about that. And for Magnus's gimmick, you can open up his front chest piece to open up his matrix chamber, and these little pieces are spring-loaded. There are clear plastic, so be careful. As you can see here, we have a very cartoon-accurate matrix of leadership with a very detailed inner chest. Very nice on Hasbro's part. I wish more commanders had these, but then again, some might get affected in their robot mode by this. So I'm half and half on this, but I really like the addition of it on this figure. And it is also very different. This matrix, well, the mold is the same, but the color is not like the dark blue from the other ones. So let me just close up the chest piece. So without further ado, let's take a look at the details. But before I take a look at the details and show you around, I have to mention this small criticism. I have these white little pieces. They're very annoying and they like to misalign, but that's another gripe. That's like one of the few ones I have, but that's definitely a problem that I don't like the figure to have, but I can't do anything about it, so But as you can see here, the details on the arms, the detail is very blocky and simple, just like it should be, as this is a G1 cartoon character. So, well, G1 movie, but you get what I mean. Now as you can see here on the side, you got a 5mm port. You got a port technically on the elbow, but I don't know if that works. Printed on Autobot logo. We got nice detail on the forearms. We got a post. The hands are articulated, but I'll mention that in the articulation. One note, on the back of my figure there's a scratch. That's because when I had him in the box after I opened him, he moved around and it scraped the back. So if you're going to move this guy around when you open him and put him in his box, make sure you put something behind him. Just be careful about that. That's one thing to note. But yeah. Another thing is that oh, hold on, let me snap this forearm into place. Another thing to note is you have to be careful with the way these arms work, because these arms like to disconnect, as you can see. But, well, let me show you here, actually. As you can see, instead, if I move this, it'll move. But if you accidentally pull on the forearm, it untabs. That's something for you guys to note, alright? Be careful with that. Well, it's not a huge issue, but another gripe, I kind of wish that tabbed in, man. On the back here, you can see, this figure is just a beautiful piece, in my opinion, honestly. As you can see here, we got a butt plate that could tab in, but I don't recommend it because the legs can't move if you tab it in. But, man, this figure is just, wow. This figure left me jaw-dropped when I first got it. As you can see here, detail on the skirts, crotch plate moves up and can snap in, but I'll demonstrate that more in articulation. The shins are actually white plastic, while the upper part of the shin that meets with the knee is actually white painted over red plastic, which is kind of weird, even though the shin itself is just white plastic. I don't know why they would paint white over red. That could be an issue with paint chips. But I'm not worried about it too much. As you can see here, we got a taillight. That's what I think it is. The wheels are pinned. I hope that stays as a trend on this figure. As well, the side of the leg also has a lot of detail. The feet are hollow. I'm not going to cry about it. I know some people will. There's only one other spot of hollowness, which is this little area right here. But that's about it on the hollowness. Like, this figure is very solid through and through. But, honestly, I can't stop saying it. This figure is genuinely one of my favorites from the 86 line. If not my favorite. I think Grimlock's the only one that could beat this guy, to be honest. Because this figure has some issues while Grimlock really doesn't. Now, another thing to note is that this guy has a little bit of issues with some joint tolerances. But I'll show you. Head can move down and up a lot more if you wanted to using the transformation joint. I don't know why you would want to do that. As well, the arms can go up, but they're a little loose in my opinion. I'm going to be really honest. I wish they could fix that. The forearms are on a swivel, a friction joint. The shoulders are on a hard ratchet, which is partially worrying as you have to hold it. The elbows are on a soft ratchet, as you can see, and they can bend about 90 degrees. The figure has a swivel at the wrist that could potentially go 360. The index finger is articulated just like Rodimus Prime is, and the other three fingers are also on a hinge joint. The crotch plate can move up. Side skirts flip up. Butt plate can move up. The waist can rotate near enough 360 if you really, really try to. The legs can kick forward a full 90 degrees. The legs can also do the full splits almost. The legs can kick back if you flip up the butt plate all the way back to 90 degrees. Figure has a thigh swivel that cannot go 360 degrees. Knee can go 90 degrees, as you can see here. And the figure has a slight ankle pivot, but not much. For accessories, you have his shoulder launchers, 2 blast effects, a small blaster that has a magazine even though it's technically an energy weapon, a larger one that looks almost like a cannon. For some reason, this also has a white plastic peg and a clear plastic body. Here we have a large blast effect, which is the same one that comes with Rodimus and Omega Supreme. And to put the blaster into Magnus's hand, you just plug it into the 5mm port into his hand, and there you go. It's really easy, although his grip is not the best. You can't shake it out, but still. To put the shoulder rockets into his shoulders, you simply just plug them into the 5mm port. You can't push them in all the way because the port isn't deep enough. For some reason. I don't know why, but it just is. Which is confusing, but hey, it's not something I'm going to complain about. Same thing for the other side as well. Just plug it in, push it in, and there you go. For some reason, the rocket itself isn't blast effect compatible, but if you remove it from the peg it's in, for some reason, that same port is compatible. This makes no sense whatsoever to me. And in case you're wondering, both weapons are blast effect compatible. As you can see, here's the larger one. It's perfectly compatible. Same as the smaller gun. They both have it, and they both have a good grip on the blast effect. Now, the big blast effect can plug in just fine, but it's too heavy, which means it likes to droop after, if you shake it, not after a while. And same thing for the larger gun. It's too heavy, man. What can I say? And for comparison, here we have Studio Series 86 Magnus next to Studio Series 86 Braun, Legacy Galvatron, Kingdom Ultra Magnus, and this is where the differences really show up. I thought Kingdom Ultra Magnus was great. Look at this difference, man. Here he is next to the Siege Netflix spoiler pack, and this also shows the difference. Oh my god. Here he is next to Studio Series 86 Grimlock, custom painted Earthrise Optimus Prime, which is a huge difference. And this guy's too big. This is Siege Jetfire. He's too big for my setup, as you can see. But there's the difference between a large commander and a small one. Here he is next to Speedia 500 Collection Crasher, Studio Series 86 Sweep. Here he is next to Kingdom Blaster, one of the taller figures from the Kingdom line. Here he is next to Earthrise Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp for just, why not, I guess? You know, Seekers, they're awesome. Who cares? And to start transforming this guy, the first thing you want to do is, of course, remove his shoulder rockets, and make sure you also remove his rifle, or whatever the hell this blaster is. I don't even know what it is. Make sure you ball up his hands into a fist to make the next step later on easier. Now, to start, one of the things is that you need to flip up the red panels on the top of his chest. Next, now note, this is not how the instructions tell you. This is how I transform the figure. So that's just a disclaimer. You want to fold out the arms, which is almost like an accordion type engineering. It's actually quite impressive. Now what you want to do is open up this part of the white truck cab, flip open the chest pieces, remove the chest from the body as so, and now you just kind of want to wiggle it out so the rest of the truck can separate from the trailer. Now I'm going to put this trailer aside so I can get to transforming the actual truck. And to start transforming the truck itself, this hump of white plastic has to first flip up these panels, as you can see here. Next thing you want to do is flip up this red panel all the way back. Now you're going to want to move the top of the truck, or the truck cab, upwards. Now this is something I wouldn't recommend. I would not recommend tabbing the face into this red piece. You can do it if you want, but there's a risk of the paint scratching on his face. I'm going to do it for this review, but I would not recommend it. I'm just going to let you guys know this is not a recommended step. Just quick FYI there. Now the next thing you want to do is, of course, adjust the head if it's not in place. Now here's the weird part. You kind of have to situate everything, and now you want to flip the front of the truck. The windshield flips open and then forwards, as you can see here. Now the wheels, you might want to flip the front of the truck back down. Makes things easier, as you can see. Now the truck wheels kind of click into place, as you can see as well. Just something to note if you transform this figure. Now you want to take that whole chest assembly and disconnect it from whatever it's connected to. I don't really know what it is. And now you're going to make sure, all right, let me move these white panels out of the way. These red panels, make sure they're kind of sticking inward like they are right now. Let me move this white panel out of the way. Make sure you use the double hinge joint to get this blue piece into this slot. Make sure you get it all the way in. That's what it should look like. Make sure you flip the red panels back in if they flipped out. And now you're going to want to flip the front of the truck in, click it into place, take the side of the truck, see this port and this tab, make sure you put it in, just kind of click it into place like so. If the front of the truck just untabs, just push it back in. There's no problem with it. It does it sometimes. Not a big deal. Now, make sure the front wheels go back into place if they went out of place. The back wheels will also do the same thing as the back. They kind of click into place. There we go. Click them in. Now flip up the smokestacks. And now you should have your complete truck. As you can see here, make sure the head is situated. If it goes out of place, just fix it. It's not a huge deal. I don't recommend you tab it in anyway. Now here you have your complete white truck mode. Now I'm going to show this thing off once we're done with the trailer. Here we have the rest of the body, as you can see here. First thing you want to do is push this red piece in, turn this one around, make sure it gets situated, push the crotch piece up. Now what you want to do is take this forearm piece and just slide it down using the double hinge, and make sure to tab it in, of course. Same thing on the other side, open it up, double hinge down, and close it. Seems pretty simple. Now, next thing you want to do is use that transformation joint that I mentioned earlier that you need to be careful of. You want to rotate this out, and you're going to take these little white panels and you're going to push it in to lock said arm piece into place. Same thing on the other side, use that transformation joint that for some reason doesn't click into place. Just hold on, wait, it's fighting me. There we go. Now click it back into place. And now you have the arms kind of semi-transformed. Now what you want to do is move on to the legs. First thing you want to do is collapse the knees in. This is pretty difficult as the tab is pretty hard. But you just kind of have to untab it and then you just kind of push the leg up. Here's the difference between a collapsed and uncollapsed leg, as you can see here. Now you want to do the same thing for the other leg without disassembling the rest of the leg. And now you have your legs collapsed. Now what you need to do is untab the shin and rotate it down on a ratchet joint. Same thing for the other side, as you can see here. Now you want to take these little, hold on, adjust it first, adjust it into place. Take these little red pieces and tab that into that post in the crotch. You see here, just tab it in, use the hinge, tab it in. Now the legs should pretty much be aligned, just push those together. And now you have the bottom of the legs. Hold on, wait, they're missing a click in the ratchets. There you go, that's what it should look like at that point. Now moving back up to the upper body. This is where things get a little complex. So you want to push these up. You want to rotate this around. Be very careful with this ratchet joint as it's very, very tough. And you don't hold it right, you could break it. Now you might want to push these chest pieces in and just soft click them into place. They click pretty hard on some copies, mine not so much. Now see this tab down here? This tab is a huge problem for some people. Now you can check my dad's page at MarkCosplay117 if you want to see how to fix this. But if you don't fix it, you can break your figure. Because I've seen other reviewers with the same figure, and this same piece is either really, really stressed or starting to crack. That's something for you to know. Mine has stress marks because I transformed mine before we realized that this was an issue. So, if you're wondering, that's why. But you just push this into place, like so. But yes, please be careful, as this is a very expensive figure, and this is something that Hasbro should have taken care of, but they have to leave it up to us. That's a complaint I have. Now, make sure you flip up this panel, or else you won't be able to link anything else together. Now make sure, of course, you tab in the other side as well. But first, flip up the other panel, as so. And, hold on, this thing is very cluttered and taking up my whole setup. This untabbed, let me tab that back into place. Adjust all that. Alright. Tab that into place. As you can see here, now you want these two pieces to tab in. Hang on, this is a little difficult. There we go. So you can see here, just push it into place, as so. Make sure at the bottom, maybe pinch that into place if it doesn't go all the way in. As you can see here, just kind of get it all situated. Now on the back here, to get this to tab in, there are these little blue pieces here that you have to slide forward and up. Slide up and slide forward, better said. Other way around. I made that mistake. Now you want to tab this blue forearm piece into there. Same thing on the other side, as expected, of course. And you just want to slide that forwards. Come on. And that tabs into place right there. Just like so. You tab the forearms together, and you got basically most of the truck mode's trailer done. Now make sure this all is situated, or else you will have problems. Now there's still a couple of things we need to do. First off, we need to flip up these panels if they haven't done it already for you, as you can see here. Now we just need to flip this around, this little panel. Oh. Okay, now we're going to try this again. You got to flip up the panel and then push it around and tab it into the hook. Here, I'll show you on the other side in better detail. Let me just get this one, because this one's trouble for me. So you see this hook, this blue hook up here. that tabs into this, or kind of hooks around it, not tabs. You just push it in, and it should make a nice click, and it should be into place. Now there are still two things left for us to do. First thing you need to do is use the double hinge on the wheels to get them to line up with this tab. You can't see it, but you'll feel it when it goes in. And this is so the wheels can actually touch the ground and they don't scrape, or the bottom of the truck doesn't scrape against the floor. And there you go. Now you have the truck mode basically finished. Now all you need is the truck. But let me actually get all this lined up, because there's these pieces as you're working on it like to misalign. But this trailer is honestly an engineering marvel compared to its Kingdom or Siege counterpart. This is a beautiful trailer. One thing I missed, make sure the butt plate is actually clicked into place. Sorry about that. Now that the trailer is now transformed, we can show off the truck. Now, this truck mode is one of my favorite trucks. Like, I might like it a little bit less than Motormaster's, because that's just because it's Motormaster. But still, this is the best Ultra Magnus we've gotten ever since the Masterpiece. Not even joking. Although the bottom of the truck is a little hollow. Then again, it's the back of the figure. Now, the head does poke out, which is a little bit annoying. And the smokestacks don't click into place. There's a couple of issues, but they're not that bad. And as you can see here, there's the post. The wheels are pinned. Let me show you here. This thing can actually roll really, really well. Hold on, let me focus the camera here. This thing can roll really, really well. And it is a great looking truck mode. Considering that it's just the back of the figure, this is an amazing truck mode. Now this is more like it. Look at this truck and trailer mode. This is beautiful. Comparing this to, like, say, the Kingdom and the Siege one, this is night and day. Now, can you fit cars in it? Yes, you can. Somewhat, at least. The cars that I have on hand aren't the most ideal. Actually, the best cars that fit on here are actually the stunt accounts from my experience. But here we have Netflix Bumblebee. We're going to first put in Kingdom Red Alert, which matches the theme of the figure very well, colors-wise at least. We're just going to push him up. Although the figure can't really roll in there, because, you know, it's a bunch of panels. It's going to kind of get him in there until the front wheels latch on. There we go. Now we're going to put Bumblebee behind them. Oh, Red Alert, can you please cooperate for 5 seconds, dude? Please. This is not the time. Of course, whenever I'm on camera, this is when stuff likes to screw around. Okay, so now we got Bumblebee in place. Oh, and he's doing this again. Oh my, this is what I mean. Whenever I have the camera on, things don't cooperate. Anyways, you know what? I give up. I'm putting Bumblebee there. So we're going to put Bumblebee and Blue Streak up here. Let me get Blue Streak really fast. There we go. This is actually how the back of the box shows that you should put cars in. Hang on. Wait. There we go. That's a little more like it. Now, you can fit 4 cars if you really tried, but if you want a more realistic look, then you can only have 3. That's the thing. Although, this is a cool display option either way. I have to say, this is an awesome, awesome truck mode. I give this a top-tier rating, in my opinion. Look at this thing. This truck mode's awesome. Well, let me move all my Autobots here out of the way. Let me flip open these ramps so we can just try our best, not lose our minds and roll Red Alert out of here. And here's one more thing you can do. You can do this in the instructions. It's not the best looking, but hang on, wait, no. There we go. You can kind of make a ramp, but thing is, there's no ramp on the forearms, which means the car can technically, you can pretend it rolls up there, but it can't. You know, it can't roll up there. Although from the side it looks cool. There's a reason why I'm not showing it from behind. That's because it looks weird. It looks really, really weird. And this untapped. Hang on. And this little panel flipped down. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is a really, really good truck mode, man. And, let's go on to our vehicle mode comparisons. Also, one more thing to note. You can also fit a scale model of the Vamp on the back, which is pretty cool. On to truck mode comparisons. Here we have Studio Series Magnus next to Earthrise Optimus Prime. Here he is next to Legacy Motormaster. And this is where the Commander trucks kind of fit together, as you can see. They look really cool together. Even though they're not supposed to be together. You know, they're enemies. They're not friends. So this is a weird comparison. But hey, why not? And just for funsies, here's Studio Series 86 Brawn for comparison. My final thoughts on this figure. To be honest, it has a couple of issues considering some pieces don't tab in when they're supposed to, but this figure looks amazing. The posability is great. The feel of the figure is great apart from those issues. If you fix that one small thing that it has with the shoulder tabs, which they don't tab into the shoulders, but they are part of the arm that forms the shoulder in the truck mode. Now, here's the thing. One more thing to note, actually, about this figure. It is extremely stable, as you can see in this footage here. It is one of the best figures to stand up and pose that I have had in a long time. I genuinely am in awe from this figure. It's worth the price in my opinion. Now, this figure was available on Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know where you can get him right now. He might go back up on pre-order. I do know he's probably on Entertainment Earth, and you might want to check local stores as well. Now, one more thing. I know I said this in the beginning of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for 60 subscribers and all the support that you guys have done for my videos and my channel. And one more thing, thanks to my dad, because if he wasn't here to help me, this channel would have never existed to begin with. So I want to give a thanks to him and everyone else for supporting me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Alright, bye.